Hello, 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 hello! Welcome back to part 2 video of answering a number of fill-in-the-blank questions. So, want to go over and just let you know again, watch my videos on point slope form. It goes over in detail some of the information about slopes and how m represents the slope. So, real quickly, y equals mx plus b. Again, in review, the number given in front of that x will always, always, always be your slope. Even if it's an invisible 1 over 1, the m will always be a fraction, y over x. So, you have a slope represented by m. The negative reciprocal is to flip the slope and multiply by a negative 1. So that's an m over 1. I explained that in my videos. You flip that m over 1, you get 1 over m. That's called a reciprocal. And then to get the negative reciprocal, you're going to multiply that value by a negative 1. That's the negative reciprocal slope. So in the video, again, I explain what each above means. The y, the m, the x, and the b, right? Y, the m, the x, and the b values. And so another thing, again, I'm just trying to show you, I know I mentioned this, reciprocal. Listen, you just go and flip it. Flip it. Flip that fraction. So an example, 1/2. You're going to flip that. 1/2, when you flip it, take the reciprocal, it's going to be 2 over 1. Or take 5/7, flip it, now it's 7 over 5. Right? So we're taking the slope m over 1, right? That's the invisible one I talked about earlier, previously in the part 1 video. And you're going to take it and you're going to flip it. That means the 1 is on top, the m is in the bottom. And in order to find the negative reciprocal, you would take it, after you flipped it, you multiply by a negative 1. That's a negative reciprocal example of a slope, right? Negative reciprocal of a slope, multiply by that negative 1 and then flip it, or flip it and multiply by a negative 1. And so I want to show you an example here. M being your slope equals 5/7. So if you want to find a negative reciprocal, you're going to take that 5/7, flip it, multiply by a negative 1. Negative 1 times a positive 7 is a negative 7/5. Right? That's an example of a negative reciprocal value. So, that being said, let's go ahead and go over some of those questions with answers. It's getting dark here in my part of the woods. And because it's getting dark, we're getting some of these shadows on my video. And looks like I'll have to wrap things up here for today. I'll continue tomorrow making more videos. So it says here, fill in the space with the most appropriate options below. Again, this was the test questions that we had from part 1 video. Two lines that never meet are parallel lines. All right, they're parallel lines. Let's see here if I can continue going on. Two lines that touch and creates right angles are perpendicular lines. Those are perpendicular lines. All right. Let's keep going. Keep going. Parallel lines have equal slopes, right? Parallel lines have equal slopes. Remember, those two lines right next to each other, they have exactly the same slopes. Perpendicular lines have the negative reciprocal slopes. Negative reciprocal slopes. And remember, the options we had here are shown below. All right, so not quite done yet, because what I like to do is go over and show you some of the internet searches you could do in order to practice your new knowledge and increase your skills and your abilities. So you'd want to perform an internet search for the following: worksheets with answers on understanding parallel lines versus perpendicular lines. That will help you understand just a little bit more, and it gives you an opportunity to practice with answers. Check those answers. Worksheets with answers on understanding parallel slopes versus perpendicular slopes. Okay, it'll help you increase your knowledge, skills, and abilities and give you confidence that you can get her done. Get her done! All right, worksheets with answers on understanding negative reciprocal slopes versus other slopes. Okay, so you punch these into the internet, do an internet search, you'll find worksheets that allow you to practice. And so try to remember, math is easy. Take it step by step. Please like, follow, and share these videos. If you have found them helpful, please help me to help others by spreading the word. And thank you in advance for any stars, gifts, donations. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining me. Math is easy. Take it step by step.